Hello and welcome to the Black Crow Gaming Podcast. I'm Toby and I'm joined by my lovely co-host Sam. And today we have an extremely special guest on, the wonderful Nick from Art of War. Say hi, Nick.
Hey guys, what's going on?
How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thank you so much for coming on. We're really looking forward to it because I think Sam and I were saying just before we came on the podcast, every competitive player has heard of Art of War. It's something that's just so ingrained within that, like the psyche of the competitive community, and to be able to interact sort of across the pond as well. It gives a great opportunity for some of our American viewers to sort of see the differences between the tactics videos that maybe we're discussing, because whenever we talk about it, we're very much talking about the UK scene. But now that we've got you here to chat to us, we can get that nuance to it as well, which I know we've had some guys from the States ask for before. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It'll be a good time.
Awesome. Well, do you want to kick off by telling us a little bit about you? Just for, I mean, let's be honest, most of them are going to know.
No, you can start with that.
Yes. What open question?
So, I mean, I guess just for the case of like people that aren't aware or haven't seen that much of your content or something like that, it's just seen your videos, but not like the history behind it. Do you want to explain sort of like how you and why you set up like Art of War in the first place?
Yeah, I got you. So I've been playing Warhammer since I was 10 years old back in 2004. I've been playing Warhammer now. That's like 20 years. I've been doing it professionally for the past 5 or so. And with that, the Warhammer community has really evolved, and depend if you've been in here for a while, then you're well aware of where it was time ago and what it is today and how different that is. If you're newer, you probably aren't so aware, but like everything, it changes. So back in those days, there really wasn't a professional scene. There wasn't content creation. Like the internet has done so much for Warhammer that like it used to be you could show up to a tournament with like a cool list that no one's ever seen before and just win because your list was cool. And it's like, no, everyone knows what that list does now. And like half the tournament has it. You know, it's like net listers are real and knowledge is very free flowing, streaming's available. And that's completely changed the game. So I was kind of a big early starter in that streaming industry world. And that's kind of where it kicked off. Back in 2019, I started doing professional coaching, basically as a one-off individual, just trying to help people get better. And that was kind of right after I won ITC in 2019 and was crowned world champion.
That's a big advert for coaching, isn't it?
Yeah, right. And it was like a really tough time for me because I just lost my real job. I was working at Revlon as a data analyst for like 2 years right out of college, and that wasn't working well. I was like very miserable, like soul-sucking data analyst. But yeah, then that was going poorly, but I was really good at Warhammer, so I figured let's see if we can make this work. And I think it's like anything, if you just like put a lot of effort and passion into it, you'll get better with time. And like I just like every day it was a grind, like the real entrepreneurial story. And then that coaching business kind of evolved because I realized like a year and a half in, there's no end game for this. Like, you know, coaching is just like money for time as the business. And, you know, if I'm not able to work or something, like I'm not earning money. So I needed like a team, I needed some scalability, that kind of stuff. And that's really what drove me and to come up with the whole vision for what Art of War is and is still becoming, which is like this place where people can learn from the best players in the world, like how all the different armies work and learn. We don't just like teach you how to play Warhammer. Like here's the broken list. Here's how to play it. We really try to teach you Warhammer as though it's a skill and treat it like it's a hobby, because for everybody it is in this conversation. So it's like, yeah, you want to be a nice person. You want to be liked by the people you're playing with. You want to be a member of this awesome community. And we try to really foster that and like help grow the tournament scene, you know, work with Games Workshop, not against them. It's so easy to like bitch about rules or whatever. Like that's not positive, you know, and try to be a positive force for the community in general. And what it's become today is far beyond what I could have ever dreamed of. Like it's really awesome to see how, like you said, people have heard of it, like up in the UK or an American-based company. Like that alone is already pretty amazing. We have people in Australia.
As I say, I'm sure it's all over the world because I mean,
it's a real global
Warhammer
thing.
is all over the world now. Yeah. So. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And like WTC has really helped propagate that. I mean, just like I said, the internet has really evolved along with the culture of the game, and that's defined like globalization for the Warhammer industry and the Warhammer meta. And like to be just a part of that and a positive force in that where people look up to, it means the world. You know, it's great.
Absolutely. I mean, what do you think was the key moment in that story where you went, you know what, I've got a business here. This is where we start bringing in other people and we really go for this. What was there like a
Yeah.
watershed moment with that?
So I was like my solo. This is back in like 2019. Still, I'm like coaching, and you know that's fine. But like that's all my days, like coaching calls and coaching clients, writing lists for people, and I'm like trying to figure out a team. I need to find a team basically, but there's a lot of you're looking for a very specific person. I don't even know what you're looking for. You're looking for someone who has the same crazy vision as you do. To have it be nothing and try to turn it into something, you need someone who's like nuts. And I went to Warzone Atlanta, which is like this 150 person tournament in Atlanta, and that's still big, but back then that was really big.
yeah.
And um, I played Richard Siegler, who at this point was like in the middle of being the up and coming. Like he had just won his first two big tournaments. This was like on his path. So we played round two. And like I knew of him, he knew of me, but we had not really played. We had like an amazing game, and he won by like a point on bottom of five. Oh, you know, I can go on about that forever. But we had such a great game, and it was on stream. It was awesome. And then I saw him at dinner because we all went out to like the local restaurant right by the tournament. And I was like at one table, and he was like at another table. I like walked over to him, and I was like, "Hey, doing this thing, Warhammer coaching. You're awesome. You're obviously great at this game. Do you want a job?" And he was like, "Actually, me, Richard, and my friend Mark over here, Mark Perry, who I knew of through playing in the tournament scene as well. He's like, we're starting this streaming thing for professional Warhammer. At that time, it was like with the help and backing of an esports company,
Oh wow.
Obey Alliance. And that was like, whoa, this is a big deal. So the only thing was I had to like move. I lived in New Jersey at that point. Which is like the top of America. I had to go all the way down to Tallahassee, the bottom of America. It's like in Florida.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Like, am I going to do this? Am I going to take this so seriously? I'm going to uproot my life for a business that doesn't really exist to try to make something out of a streaming thing with these people I just met at a tournament? And actually, yes, was the answer to that question. Like I said, you need someone nuts.
That is quite the leap of faith, right?
Yeah.
that is
It's I can't describe it, dude. Like in your heart of hearts, you just know.
I mean,
like
if
it's
you know,
passion and
yeah.
effort. You just if you know, dude. So like and like I told people this, I told like people who are big in the industry this plan. They literally, as the stories say, they look at you like crazy. They tell you that there's no freaking way this is gonna work. And it's like you just won't hear it. Like that doesn't matter. Like your opinion is invalid. And then
Unless
you
it's
go
agrees
there.
with you, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Right. I was also in a place where I didn't have that much to lose, right? Like I was single, I don't have a family, I didn't have a family or anything. Like, what is it really gonna cost? Like,
Yeah.
but that's the time to do it, right? And then
100%.
we just did it, and then COVID happened because now we're in 2020, and I just moved to Tallahassee. Which, if you don't know anything about Tallahassee, there's a reason. It's the middle of nowhere, man. I tell you, like I went from living like within 1 hour driving distance of New York City, 1 hour driving distance of Philly. Like I had fiends. I was like near the Jersey Shore to like now there's farms. There's just farms and space. And like it's like it's walking in the past. So I was like locked down in my house in this town where I didn't know anybody with these two guys I had barely just known. And we were starting a business together. But that like fostered this environment where we had nothing to do besides get to know each other, play Warhammer, and put a camera on it. And we like started a daily paint stream to get all our stuff painted and make some daily content. We played 3 games a week, like religiously on clockwork to build up the stream. And like we started, and like this is like me as world champion, Richard is world champion at this point. So we have 2 world champions playing. And I shit you not, there's like 12 people watching the stream. Like that's where it started. Like live viewers 12. Total viewers after a month 100. You know, like these are numbers that like
That's relatable.
anybody who puts a camera on can get. Like we're world champions getting these kinds of numbers because like we don't know how to stream. Our streaming is garbage. Our camera equipment is like not there. We barely have an overlay. The lighting's all non-existent. The cameras suck. The mics suck. It's terrible. And like through the process of doing this for now 5 years, we're like learning, and still by many standards we still suck, but we're learning production quality and videography and filmography and basically how to be a functioning video channel. And now we have this whole subscription based platform where people can subscribe, and we pump out like 10 videos per week, which are like edited, and the whole 2 studio setup now. But this is basically, I'm still in the process of building this, right? Art of War is not a finished vision here. So Richard and I were co-owners, and we decided to just take all of the money, not like literally all of it, but take all of the money and just keep throwing it into this business. And, from like $100 a month from our YouTube channel, we're making however much now. And it allows us to afford 2 studios and lights and cameras and big fancy things. And now we have every army in the game as part of our collection, which is only really possible because we have sponsors too. Like the community has really supported this as well. So it's been a grind on like every front basically to get us here.
Yeah, wow, I mean that is very impressive that it was like quite that leap of faith just to go, yeah, fuck it, off we go to Tallahassee. But I mean, well, stranger things have clearly happened. But what's
worked out well?
Yeah, no, it seems to have worked out pretty well for you now. Because how big's your team these days?
So we got 5 full-time employees, counting myself, and then we've got 15 or so contract workers that are all doing like a graphic design or like answering emails or this or that or whatever. And then that's just like what keeps the business running. And then beyond that, we have like, I think we just expanded our team, so don't quote me on the numbers, but I think now 12 or 15 or so team members that represent the team when they go to tournaments.
Oh, amazing. Because obviously you guys are now pretty damn huge, and with a business that size, that takes a hell of a lot of work. So as much as you mentioned, we do Warhammer for a hobby, does it still feel like a hobby? Like, do you still feel like you have that same passion?
It's been a roller coaster, man. I tell you, it's like when I started this, I loved it. Like that's what I did. I was so into Warhammer, I lost my job. That we can look at that. So that was great. But then when you turn something that you love like that into a job, you end up resenting it. It sucks. Because then you can't turn it off. You have to do it, and you can't do it in the ways that you want. Like especially in those days, I would like write lists for people. You send me a list you want, like Blood Angel Army, here's $15. Back then, you couldn't just Google what the best Blood Angel Army was.
It also wasn't as simple, like as in to build lists. It was a lot more complicated.
That's
like
so true.
elements
like 15
to it.
books to go through.
Well, especially towards the end of 7th. Oh my god! Like,
I mean, I did this in 8th edition.
Okay, right. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the timings. Yeah,
but sorry, what was the question? I lost myself.
It was how, like, do you ever feel like your passion dipped, or it didn't feel like a hobby?
I would say, like, through the grind of it all and through the growing of the business, like my passion really became growing the business and growing the team as opposed to playing the Warhammer. The Warhammer is just what I did. But most of our team members, and they've all struggled with their own things in different ways, but they were all very passionate about the game while I was like dipping into more of a business sense. But it's kind of come full circle where I took like 2 years of like resenting the game, but still playing it to like really miss the game and appreciate it. I like didn't go to tournaments for a year, and then I came back and I was like, wow, this is really fun. And it's actually gone like full circle to the point where I think my relationship with the game is like healthier than it's ever been, where I'm like not crazy obsessive with it to the point of like, that's not good. But I also really, really genuinely enjoy it and have fun. And the fact that it's my job is just actually really cool, as opposed to like any sort of burnout, which I have felt before.
Yeah,
it goes full circle.
Yeah. When you're working that hard to make something work, like burnout is sort of almost inevitable. It's just recovering from that and then managing yourself after that, I imagine. Like so it's good that you come back around to having like that healthy relationship.
It's very strange because like it takes a very obsessive mindset to become world champion at Warhammer, or then to create a company about Warhammer as a content creator. And like I love that. You live and breathe it, but it totally imbalances you. Like, you're just Warhammer at that point. You have to separate yourself from that. That's like active work. You're like, I am not the guy who plays Warhammer. I mean, to you guys, I am, but like, internally, I do like all these other things and
Of course.
have other hobbies and stuff. And that has done a lot to really like being active about that stuff has really done a lot to help me get to this point where I don't resent Warhammer and I don't feel that burnout and stuff.
Do you mind if I pry a little bit on what's the outside of Warhammer stuff you do?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends all over the world now through Warhammer, of course. But there's like a difference between I call them event friends and Warhammer friends versus real friends. Where it's like you could meet someone through Warhammer, but like they're friends I have who I could see them and we won't play Warhammer, we won't talk about Warhammer, we could spend a week together and just like chat life, do hang out, all kinds of real friends. So through traveling the world, which has been like a blessed existence and experience here, like tournament after tournament all around Europe and America, Canada, etc. Like I've met so many amazing people and some shitheads, but mostly amazing people. Like some which like I've been to like their weddings, I've given like speeches at their weddings, we've been on cruises together, like we traveled across Europe together, like stuff you don't just do with like strangers, but like you do because this community is awesome like that. And if you find the right people, you can find friends like that. And I love spending time with them. I love traveling. I have a dog, I have a girlfriend, love going out into nature. I've recently restarted like exercising, running every day, stuff like that. So it's just trying to be more than someone who just plays Warhammers all day.
Really being a full human, yeah.
Yeah.
the gremlin that sits there and plays all the time.
Yeah, I think there's such a stigma.
Which is what we're all trying to avoid becoming.
Yes, it's so addictive. It's crazy. Like it's such a stupid.
I spend so much of my time like thinking about and do. Like you said there about like going and spending like a week with friends without talking about Warhammer or play. I'm like, I don't do that with my friends that don't play Warhammer. Like
I catch myself.
I'm like, I've got this tournament coming up or whatever, and it's like that. All of them, are playing Space Marine 2, for example, right? So it's not like it's a completely like, non-existent thing in their minds, but it's just really funny that I just somehow will always find a way to bring it up. I need to stop.
It's a real thing. It's super real.
No, I really like the way that the community seems to be kind of developing as well to show that kind of like we are full human side of it, and like that's something that I like with doing these podcasts because as much as we're going to talk about the Warhammer and how to play commercially, all that kind of thing. Like I like just yeah, exactly. But it's like there's so much more that you get from playing, and something that you mentioned there with in terms of like exercise. There seems to be a big push towards this kind of like almost a healthy nerd like kind of stuff that's going on now. Like loads of like we have a whole group chat just for working out. I think it's called like Swole for Sanguinius or something like that. But it's just an excuse for
it is Discord has like one, I can't remember what that's called, but it's some pun as well. And it's just like that everywhere I look there is some form of like active like part of it, because it's like it is a community. It's not, there's always when you're meeting all these people, you don't always, it's not, you've got other things in common as well, potentially, that isn't related to Warhammer, or, you all do other parts of your life that you might, relate to. So it is good to have that more expanded thing. It's just like, we don't have to just be Warhammer.
No, and I think once you start taking that step with like people who ultimately start out as Warhammer friends, and it's like you actually get to know them and you actually find what other common interests you have, and chances are you have a lot beyond just Warhammer. And that's how friendship really gets formed in this thing. Like it can extend way beyond Warhammer, obviously. And that's my favorite part of this hobby. Like the people I've met through the going to tournaments experience and just doing this for so long. Would never get the opportunity. Like I've met people from all over the world, literally, and two, like the amount of experiences I wouldn't have had because I don't know these people and I'm not doing these things. Like it forces you to put yourself out there, which is something a lot of people struggle with outside of like school. Once you get out of school, you have a job, and like how do you meet people beyond that?
Yeah. I mean, making adult friends is not an easy thing to do. Like it's just something that I have trouble with in general. But like being able to join up with like a community, a team, or whatever, and go to events, and then you start talking to other people, and then it's the sort of thing where I can go to events and have conversations with people, and it's just people that I've played at another time or whatever, and you just slowly build up these like friendships. It might just be saying hi every now and again, but then 10 tournaments in, you're having full blown, just hanging out at lunchtime or whatever. And so
it could
it's
even
great
be
to
like
have
a
that
catalyst, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah. So like a great example is like you meet some dude at a tournament, and then like you both like Warhammer. Hey, where do you live? You want to play Warhammer together? And it's like, oh, we don't live too far away. Let's play on the weekends. Okay, now you're weekend friends, and then from there it just evolves.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's always been my favorite part of the hobby, like building communities and like having spaces for people to mess around. It's why I think we love bringing so many people to tournaments as well, because on that Saturday night of your GT, you go out, you have dinner together, and there's always one funny story that we come back from that night. And to be honest, I think because I don't know if it's the same in the States, but it's a big culture here that if you're going to meet up with your mates, you go to the pub and you have beers, and it's like that's not always the healthiest thing to do. So it's like.
Right.
It's nice to be able to have a hobby that's outside of that, because like sure you could go, yeah, let's go to the gym together. I'm headphones on, head down when I'm in the gym, so I'm not talking to anyone then.
Right.
I work out just over there, like it's literally
I'm the
I
same
work
way,
out at
no.
home, so
Like I'm working out right now. Don't bother me. No.
yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to talk to you. This is not friendly, Nick. Like, I'm trying to,
It's honestly, it's like when people would say, it's just like, oh my goodness, I'm worried that someone's staring at the gym. It's just like, I'm worried that someone's staring in the gym because I'm going, I'm looking like I'm probably about to shit myself.
Whenever I do go into a gym, I'm worried that somebody thinks I'm staring at them because I'm oblivious to everybody else in the gym. So I'm just like staring off into blank space as I'm doing stuff. I don't even notice that there is other people. I've genuinely had a friend like try to interact with me that I didn't know was there. I'm just like, they just came up and talked to me, and I just ignored them because I assumed it wasn't someone talking to me because I didn't know they were there. It's just like
I just got old people at my gym. There's nothing to stare at. I go to like the gym in my community. It's like provided by the area I live in. It's just literally old people.
Oh, beautiful. Imagine. I bet that's fun to watch when they start running. No.
Oh my God.
Gotta stop.
Moving on. So,
yeah, we were literally saying no one get cancelled in this video.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna manage.
So you said something about having 2 studios or
well, so it's actually the whole thing operates out of like my house.
Right, because I was going to ask, like, I thought at one point that you guys had all moved in, or the core group of you guys.
It's evolved a lot. It's always been the stream house.
Right, yeah.
When I moved to Tallahassee the first time I moved, we lived in this tiny little. It was a decent sized apartment, but it was like really crappy. It was like falling apart and shit. So there was like. It's a 3-bedroom apartment, and 2 bedrooms were mine and Mark's. Sieg's lived next door. And then one of the bedrooms was the studio, which was basically where we played the game. And it was not big enough compared to what we have found we needed, but we made it work. But that was also where we housed all the models. And then the paint room, where we did the paint stream every day, was literally my bedroom. We just put a camera up on a little table and streamed that. So it was like
pile of shames around your bedroom.
Oh yeah, we like you can find this stuff. There's still all over Twitch if you like look at the Art of War 40K Twitch channel. We use YouTube now for all our streaming, but we didn't delete it. It's there. If you go back and watch those streams and compare it to a new stream, it's like painful.
I'm sure.
It's so painful. But then we moved after a year there because we needed way more space to grow. So we started renting a house in Tallahassee still, and I lived there and Richard lived there, and then John Lennon is one of our employees. He's one of the original, not founders, but he was there within months of its creation. And he was making a big pillar for it. So we all moved in together, and same thing, it was a 4-bedroom house, and then 3 bedrooms were where we lived, and the master bedroom, of course, was the stream room. God forbid I get that.
I mean, that's not fighting over it, right?
Yeah. Well, the master bedroom was attached to this master bathroom, which had an awesome shower and tub. So I showered there every single day. But because like the shower was next to the bedroom where we streamed, like if I showered, you could hear that. in those streams. So I had to like time my showers with respect to our content production, which like doesn't sound that hard, but when you work at home and all you do is play Warhammer, you shower at weird times. I tell you.
I was gonna say you wake up late. That you think you've got enough time. You're in there. You take a little bit longer than you should. You come out and you're just on camera in a towel.
Well, it's like as we grew, we brought in Jack next, and Jack started working there, and then John moved out. So thankfully, Richard and I just had more space, which is nice. Which got consumed by Warhammer very quickly. Don't get me wrong. But then once we were a team of 4, we got the luxury of not all of us needed to do every stream. One person got to take a break. So I would like be the guy who got a break every now and then. And the 3 of them are streaming. And then I like go for a run and I come back and it's like I can't shower for the next 2.5 hours because they're streaming. So I guess I'll just be sweaty and gross all day and I can't go anywhere. Awesome. Or like sometimes I'd be in the shower and they'd get really pissed at me because like they can't progress with their stream because I'm showering.
I would honestly, I'd be too tempted at some point just to walk out in a towel and be like, "Stop, motherfucker!"
We could never do this.
There's eggs you can find. Like if you go digging, you can find.
Nick just sneakily on.
Just randomly like walking through.
My ex-girlfriend got me a robe which says Art of War on. It's a very sweet like Christmas present, and I just like wore that robe for like 2 weeks because I was so happy with it. And like I was just doing streams in this robe and stuff. Yeah. And we moved now in 2024 this year. We bought a house in Orlando, which is where Disney is, and you've probably heard of it. It's like a much more exciting place. You've been to Orlando. It's not Tallahassee.
Yeah, my dad's a Disney obsessed, so I've been to like Orlando like 10 plus times.
Yeah. So yeah, like Disney is 30 minutes from my house now, and Orlando's a big touristy place, so there's endless stuff to do. I've been here for 9 months, and like I haven't even scratched surface. So Richard and I still live together. It's a much bigger house. Space isn't a problem, thankfully. And with that, we've converted the master bedroom again into the stream room. And the dining room, formal dining room, we put a door in and we created a wall to it to really section it off because it was like an open floor plan. And then that became the stream room where we do like our tier list and things. So like not the game, but like
have different setups, don't you? Yeah, because you've got like the whole green screen setup now and everything. Because I do watch your content. Like I'm not in the war room at the moment, but
will be after this.
Oh well, I mean, you're giving out free
so I can pitch it.
But yeah, I've been in the war room because I was given because you've got some great guys. I mean, people should just go and watch your streams because there's a good chance that someone's just going to drop like 50 subs anyway. I've forgotten the name of the guy that keeps doing
Ricardo.
Yeah,
what a hero.
I mean,
he keeps quitting hungry.
That was the Toby, if you're not aware, Quinton only gets paid in super chats, so can only eat when people give super chats. So
he actually gets paid in sandwiches. I just buy the sandwiches with super chat money.
Oh, I see. But yeah, no, I think it's really funny because I feel like the Art of War tier list is like an event that happens across the community, because I swear to God, whenever you guys do a full tier list, like as in like the full faction,
like every army in the game,
they just get dropped in like every Discord, like everyone screenshots it.
It's so funny that you say that.
And it's just everyone's.
I love that. That's what it is. That's awesome.
Oh, I know. Yeah. The last one, the big controversial Drakari at the bottom.
Oh my God.
Everyone's commenting on it.
I know.
Could not bring it up.
What a
you weren't on that video.
Look, okay, so I'll be honest. I don't think Drakari is that great. Like I would have also.
You guys explain your logic.
Right. So like I'll back the boys in that regard. Yeah. But the amount of shit we got for that comment, and then the worst part is you guys don't know about this because you're in the war. This is what you're missing. This is why you got to subscribe. The worst part is today, literally today, a game got released. It's My Demons versus Siegs' Drakari, and what happened is that Quentin has been our Drukhari player for like the past 9 months, and he's like 0-50 to us. Like, he has not won a game into any fashion. They're literally putting on Imperial agents in their debut game. Be like, Quentin, this is freaking Imperial agents. Do this. And he's like, he can't. He literally lost to Imperial agents. So we're like, all right, well, Siegs will take over the Drukhari. Now, Richard has played exactly 9 games of Drukhari in his life. All 9 of them were at a US Open. He won that US Open, and then he stopped. So this is his 10th game with Drukhari. We're like joking about how he's gonna like avenge Quentin and destroy me, and the streak is gonna go. But we're also like, Drukhari sucks. There's no way. He lit me up like a Christmas tree. Like, I literally, I played demons. Turn 1, Bloodthirster dead, Soul Grinder dead. Turn 2, Soul Grinder dead, Great and Clean on like 4. I'm like, what is happening? I got put into a blender. So I really had to eat my words with this, because like, on one hand, we're really doubling down on Drukhari are not that good. And on the other hand, I'm sitting here getting tabled by Drukhari.
That's why that video's in the war room and not on the public YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. There's a comment on it already that says this is the best stream we've ever done.
Just immediately just eat those words about Drukhari.
Yeah. I mean, like, Drukhari are a weird one at the moment, obviously, in the meta, and the way that you guys explain your tier list, I'm not going to go through it. People can go and watch the start of your videos, but I can see your logic. But I did also comment on there and point out that our Drukhari player managed to beat an Art of War member at a tournament.
I said if there's one thing, don't bring up that.
No, I had to bring it up.
Who was it?
That was,
who did he beat?
It was Darren, our Darren versus Matt Robertson. At
Robertson had a kid. He's old now.
He was
on the bench.
It was the first competitive tournament of Pariah Nexus. It was the Glasshammer Open.
It was literally like a week after Pariah Nexus dropped.
Yeah. So and Darren is a very, very experienced Drukhari player. He lives and breathes them. And he managed to go 5-0 and then ended up losing to Josh in the shadow. But yeah, he was just like, you've given me a challenge here by saying Drukhari suck.
You'll be even more surprised that he plays Real Space Raiders.
No, Siegs beat me with Real Space Raiders. He put me in the ground with that shit. He was like, these Dark Princes reroll the hits. And I'm like, what else is
have some competition with for Real Space Raiders, because at the moment he's like the only one in the stats that is playing it. We looked at the
real Drukhari players play Real Space Raid. It's only the posers that are like
going
into it. Yeah.
You want to be
controversial take?
It's all controversial takes.
Bon, Nick? What is your most controversial Warhammer take? Is it that you love female custodies? Because I know I do. Muscle mummies.
That is not controversial.
That's not controversial at all.
No. I'm just wanting an excuse to say I love muscle mummies.
I'm trying to think of a good one. I got it. Oh my god, it's dated. It's no longer like my take, but it was my take. So way back in the olden days of like 8th edition, like I said, the community's evolved. So the hobby standards were like not there. You basically could do whatever you wanted, show up to a tournament, it had to be painted, and like you rolled up and thing. So also, Games Workshop didn't do this thing where like they produced the rules for the models that exist. They produced all kinds of rules for models that didn't exist.
Scratch. I remember I built with my dad a Turvagon out of green stuff and
right. Like there was no Turvagon, but there's rules for a Turvagon. I want to play with it, right? So you just made a
really
Turvagon, whatever that's supposed to look like. Yeah, and like sizes, no one could agree on what size it should be, so you just took an honest guess. So they had these brimstones, and these things were broken. They were like 2 points each, and they could split from horrors, and you could give them a 2-up invulnerable save, and you could re-roll 1s, and you could make them only hit on 6s, and like you would auto win the game. It was actually just so broken and stupid. 40k was bad at this point. This is like 7, honestly. And then the only way to get a brimstone horror was to buy this like $190 board game that Games Workshop produced, and there was 2 of the characters you could play as were like brimstone.
That's how you got obliterators originally as well.
So like I wanted to run like 180 of these things because they were broken. And you could buy them 2 at a time for $190 for the pair. So I was like doing some math, and I was like, that's not going to work. So what we did instead, and this is back when I was younger, I was living at my parents' house, and my mom, she, bless her soul, she helped me. She and I stayed up like all night, and we baked clay brimstones. Like I literally carved little pieces of fiery brimstones out of clay, and I drew little smiley faces in all of them, and then I glued them to bases, and I just baked them. And then I had 180 brimstones. And then I rolled up to the tournament and I sprayed them red and I sprayed them orange and I sprayed them yellow. And now they were 3-colored and they were fire. The base, red, orange, and yellow, who cares?
And it's brimstone,
this,
right?
this is a brimstone. And I just dumped these on the table and I won a tournament. These were the dark times of Warhammer. So then they changed the format. This is the third time I've got the format changed for something. They changed the whole format and the painting standards for like the game across the world to basically say no to that.
Yeah, there was, for a long time, it was just like 3 colors was like the requirement and everything. And the amount of times you would have, I mean, I did it at one point with I couldn't finish painting my Lord of Skulls for a tournament back in 7th edition. And I was just like, well, half of it's painted with 3 colors. Well, it was like 5 colors.
Yeah. 5 colors was the real thing, so they couldn't argue it.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was like, no, half of it is basically like done or close to done, and then the other half is just still black. And
yeah.
I was like, it was getting late on the Friday night, and I was just tired. I just want to go to bed. I know I have to get up early to drive to the event, and I'm just like, let me look through the rules pack. Oh, it just says 3 colors. All right, good. I'm done. It's just like, it was just...
Dude, I showed up to a tournament once with Magnus, and I didn't have time to paint him. When I say I didn't have time, I really mean I was a college student, and I prioritized everything besides painting. And so I would paint 1 dot, 2 dot, and a smiley face in 3 different colors on his chest, and that was Magnus. He's painted.
It's silly how often stuff like that was done and how much it worked, and it seems ridiculous now that
it's saying this is like embarrassing, right? This is like what people did.
But it happened. Like every event had one of those. Like at least in England,
this was normal. They were like, yeah, no. There were people who obviously put time and love and care into their armies, and that was some people. But there was half of the people didn't, and now whatever.
But the fact that battle ready is a thing and why it wasn't a thing 15, 20 years ago is insane to me.
Well, they didn't think people would abuse a 3-color system.
People did it for years.
I really want to see if there are any of those clay brimstone horrors that still exist.
They're called brownstones. Dude, I could go downstairs and get one.
I mean, please just get them on an Art of War stream.
Just on the Art of War stream. They sneak in there.
Get them on.
Random spots.
I'll sneak them in. I'm gonna see if I can find one. Hold on.
Yeah, the duck, like the rubber duck thing, where you just sneak rubber ducks into shots, or just every now and again you just got a random brimstone in the background of clay.
I need to start doing that with Watch the Dark.
Literally, I got this clay delivered today to do base work. It's just really funny. You're like, oh, I baked the clay, and I'm like, I've just bought some. It literally arrived a few hours ago. That timing.
I took them to WTC. I always bring them as little Easter eggs, and I use them as my cherubs on my sister's
I was gonna say, just or mark which objectives are sticky and you could use them for so many different little markers. It'd be great.
I did not find a picture on the internet.
That would be the kind of thing where I don't know if you guys do much stuff with charity or things like that, but I guarantee that if you ended auctioning that off, auctioning a couple of them off, you would get so much money.
That's such a good idea. I never even thought of
that. That would be really cool.
Well, there were 180 originally, and I have 10, dude. They're relics lost to time.
Oh wow, okay. Somewhere around the world, there.
Well, all my friends have stolen them. I need some of these. I get some of these. These are infamous.
It's a proof that you're actually friends with Nick, that you have some.
Do you have one of these or collectors?
I was gonna say, Nick, if you come to OGT and you bring one, it will not be with you when you leave. I will have stolen it. That's why I bought you all these pints, mate. So I can
have a pint, just sneak. Don't look over here.
No, I love that story, and it's made extra nice when it's like it's your mum that helps you as well. Like,
she has no idea that like we talk about this still, so she probably forgot about this experience.
imagine you've got at some point you've got to try and find the next thing. It should be Nurglings because Sam wants Nurglings banned, but you should definitely do like some baked Nurglings.
Yeah.
But for context on the ban Nurglings, Nick, it's sort of a meme. When I was a viewer of our podcast, not on it, I would whenever Nurglings came up, I would put ban Nurglings in the chat because I'm a World Eater player, and Nurglings are bullshit for World Eater players. Where you infiltrate block minus, and it was always Death Guard with them as well. Infiltrate block, you've got -1 to hit from the Nurglings, -1 weapon skill from the Contagion. I'm just there freaking hitting on 5s and it's miserable. I had a Lord of Skulls charge into 3 Nurglings and only kill 1.
Dude, as Nurgling tends. That's correct.
You should know better than to charge Nurglings.
I know, right?
Nurglings are adorable.
They are the cutest things in Warhammer. I love them to bits. Lore, like the actual like bit models and the animations, especially in Warhammer Total War. But god damn, I would rather never see them on the tabletop again. On the I own Nurglings. I play demons. I own Nurglings.
Demons are my favorite army.
I was going to say, I know that you're a big chaos person, and I think you usually on the on the Art of War channel, whenever a Chaos Codex is coming out and talking about it, and super excited. So I knew you were Chaos, but I wasn't sure which one was your favorite. But it is Demons officially.
Yeah. They're not like my best army, unfortunately, but they're
Demons struggle to be because even when they were really good, or at least some of them were really good, they just got it was like, oh, just take them with Thousand Suns because the best ones are Zinc at the moment and such and such. It's rare that Demons get their own thing, but maybe
the last time I got to play Demons and like actually enjoyed playing Demons like properly was like 9th edition, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that kind of flamer, those flamer lists were, not so much fun to play against, but they're a heck of a lot of fun to play.
Yeah,
right.
I remember
I like up and down teleporting.
That was very annoying. Yeah.
On the up and down teleporting, then what would be your pick right now? Is it something like Grey Knights, if that's your flavor, or what's the if we said you've got to go to LGT and you've got to submit your list at the end of this week?
I'd be playing Sisters because I've been playing Sisters like pretty much all year, getting ready for WTC. I played them at WTC, and I was doing it as like Sisters are a good army and they need to be like repped. And then they got a new codex, and the codex is crazy, so it like lined up very nicely. But like I played them so much lately that I'm like burnt out on Sisters. They brought too much flame. So like I want to play something else. I want to play anything else, despite how good they are.
Come play World Eaters. It's great fun.
I cannot play World Eaters. I don't know. My brain doesn't acknowledge what World Eaters are. Like, what do you mean you only move forward and charge them? Like that's the only thing you do. I don't understand.
There's another thing we do. We also win. Move forward, charge, win. That's the trick.
You've just said that to someone that has previously been the world champion. I can literally list off Nick's achievements. It's on his little profile thing.
I know, we have the profile up of the mass achievements, but also
what is the profile? Which profile did you get?
Your one on your website.
It's your main one.
Like the coaching one. So
I don't even know what it says there. I'm gonna look it up now.
I can read it out to you.
This is something we wrote this years ago, and it just lives up there, right?
I mean, it's got some stuff from. Wait, the dates go up to at least there's 2023. There's one 2023 one on there I can see, which is American Team Champions 2020. Wow, 2018, 2022, and 2023.
Oh, there I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
big
an
long
interesting little mention in 2022. There's another team you played for there.
That's 2019, I believe.
That's 2019.
Yeah, Team England.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I'm reading the dates the wrong way around.
Yeah.
2019. What happened there, Nick?
Oh. All right. This is the key. I played on America from like 2012 to 2018. We progressively got better. We used to be horrible. And then in 2018, we eventually won. So we were all jazzed up about winning and everything. And that was great. And then on 2019, for reasons I still to this day have not actually been told, but I think I got a good guess. I was not on Team America. They just like took me off. So along with a lot of people, they kind of reorganized the team. Despite winning in like 2018, they're like, let's just start.
Weird time to do a reorg.
Yeah, right. You would think let's try to keep that going, but let's restart Team America. Was the mindset. And I was at LVO, like early 2019, lamenting the fact that I was not on Team America again. Because at this point I'd gone like 6 years in a row, so this was like a big part of my life and stuff. So I was like bummed out, and then I was like bitching to the Team England players, and then a few of them were like, and the rules again were much laxer back in these days. And this is another instance of me getting a format change because of actions I did. But I basically merged for Team England, and then Team England won in 2019. And then we played America. That was a real awkward round.
Oh, yeah,
we beat them. I 20-0 their night player. That was fun.
Nice. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
It was like I was hate pounding that round.
Yeah.
We've since made friends. I
feel like everyone on Team England was like trying extra hard just to like get revenge for you. Like in that round.
Oh, that's sweet. We all wanted to win. Like, don't get me wrong. So it was a nice year. I enjoyed my time with Team England. That was a fun year. But then they changed the rules, and now you can't just merc for whatever team you want.
Yeah, I remember before, because I played a lot of tournaments, and then took like a break off, like when 8th edition sort of started, and I came back middle of the night. But I remember always back then, like the players on like Scotland and England would just constantly be like fluctuating between some, it almost felt like I mean, I'm not going to say that actually, because someone's going to get annoyed at me. But yeah, like I just remember there's definitely quite a few members of like, it was just the sort of thing. I think you had to have 4 people on the team from the country, and then the other 4 could be pretty much from anywhere. I think was the rules back in like at least in the ETC like times.
Yeah. It was 4 and 4. And now it's like you have to like be able to prove that you can't get 8. So like a country like England can easily get 8 players. They might not be the 8 players they want, but they can get 8 players, so they don't qualify for that.
Yeah, and you have to have not, because also obviously some people have like dual citizenship and stuff like that and might move, but it's like you can't play for multiple teams. I think it is. If you've already played for
a lot of teams have like that kind of in their system. Like I know David Gaylord's a good example where he is from New Zealand, lives in the UK, and he basically had to choose which team do you want to play for.
Yeah. Which is
no, I mean that's a better way of doing it, I think, just to like kind of properly make sure that the country that wins has got the people, I guess, from
no, you should. That should be the way.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, because also it helps grow. If you've got the same people constantly swapping around for different countries, it's not going to like grow those communities as well as it possibly could with the things. Like WTC has grown quite a bit, hasn't it? Like even this last year was like the biggest one by quite a bit because they added a whole was it extra 8 teams? That's a guess, but
I think it was just 40 teams. Like I remember when I started going to, it was like 20, 22. Maybe.
Yeah,
so like, it's almost doubled.
Because there was even like a team from China this year, wasn't there?
Like, China went, Singapore, Thailand, Mexico, a lot of teams, South Africa. A lot of teams that you would just not expect to ever be at the WTC.
It's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely to see sort of that globalization of the game, like you were mentioning before. And funnily enough, I think that segues us really nicely onto the next week, which is kind of what's the next new thing for Art of War that you can tell us at the moment. I'm not going to try and fish, but what sort of is the next big thing that you're excited to talk about?
Well, there's 2 things really. One is obviously pertaining to Warhammer, and it's basically, you may have already seen it if you watched our content, but we've been really putting effort onto the production quality side and like making our videos look nicer, sound better, just be a better video. Or we're like scratching the surface of that. Like I really want long-term goal would be like at a team of like highly trained editors that are like constantly editing every video, and then we're like a fully edited channel with like short form edited awesome battle reports, and we're in progress on that goal. Like that's a long-term journey, but we are we're chipping away at that. So just that is something I'm really excited for, and it's something that everyone will get to witness over time. It's not going to be like a light switches one day and then all of a sudden Art of War is totally different. It's like over time you'll notice small but subtle upgrades, which you might not appreciate individually, but like
I've
night and
definitely
day
noticed
difference.
improvements and stuff from the way you guys
Thank
have
you.
done things since I've been watching it, and that's not even been a huge amount of time. Like I say, I've recently come back to the game, so
That's awesome.
yeah, like definitely. I mean, probably like, what, over the last like year and a half, probably is what
Yeah.
I'm referring to here. But yeah, it is really good to see.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. So it's nice to see that that's being well received and appreciated because, that's the same mindset that got us to where we are. Just keep reinvesting the money back into the business and grow it because it's not as good as it could be. And that's really what the goal is. And then beyond that, playing Star Wars Unlimited. We're switching games.
Really?
We're going all over the place now. I mean, this is more of a hobby thing than we're not going to be the best Star Wars Unlimited players. At least that's not the
Oh,
goal.
I was gonna say, like if I mean, I don't obviously know any of your players personally, but to get to the top of one game, you've got to be very, very competitive. I am
Okay, so I will
sure
say
they're going to be taking it
we
as
went
like,
to like a local tournament. It was like 20 people, and then I won and Jack got third. So like
yeah, there's
skill
no
sets
way that you
transfer.
guys can
That's
hold
like winning an
that.
RTT. Okay, that's not that impressive
Hey, that's
on the
whoa,
grand
whoa, whoa,
scale.
whoa, whoa! Winning an RTT is really
I'm
impressive. I did it.
sorry.
I
It's
did
supposed
it
to
a
be
couple of
fair.
days ago. It's
I
really
know.
impressive.
Good job.
Good job, buddy. You're all right. You can
Yeah,
win an
yeah.
LTT.
The different levels, eh?
I
It's
just
okay. You beat 263rd place mid player in the
we're just
country.
playing, and that's totally okay. I don't have RTTs listed on my achievements. You do.
I
That's
have
okay.
them listed on mine.
That was the most backhanded and bitchy comment I think
Yeah,
I've ever
I don't,
heard in
here's,
a while.
it's even better. I don't even have a list of my achievements. That's how like.
Oh Christ, that was beautiful.
It's all
Who'd have
perspective,
thought?
right? Like literally, I do this professionally. If I like did pick any other hobby, put me in it, and it's like, no, I'm terrible. Yeah.
I mean, I think that must be something you've got to sort of talk to people about with the coaching as well, in terms of that, like, I know we're going for something quite jokey, something a little bit more serious, but like that managing expectation and like what they want to achieve and what they can achieve, those kinds of that people management must be quite central, right?
There's a lot of my job is people management and feelings and that kind of stuff. And a lot of the job is people. But to answer your question about expectation management, I'm pretty straight with people. And like the nice thing is, like, I know exactly how to get from wherever you are, because I was there, to best player in the world playing at WTC, because I'm there too. So it is not really can you do it. I really like Warhammer is not you don't have to be 7 feet tall. You don't have to be this fast. As long as you have enough capability to logically learn and apply yourself, you can pretty much play Warhammer and get better at it. So it's really just like amount of effort and the type of way you're approaching the game. Because a lot of people get in their own way with progress. They like don't analyze the game effectively, which is hard. There's so many different ways you could lose, whether it's army list deployment, turn one, turn two, a combination of small mistakes. And various levels do it differently. So that's where coaching can really help and the worm can really help. But I tell people, like, if I've had clients who are like, I go 1-4 at the local GT with Space Marines. I like my Space Marines. I want to keep playing my Space Marines, and I don't want to play the meta Space Marines. But I would like to go like 3-2. I'm like, totally, no problem. But if that same client is like, I want to become the world champion, I'm like, you can do it. We're gonna have to make you much, much, much better at the game. And here's like a systematic way of doing it. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And then probably you're going to have to detach yourself from playing specifically this Space Marine army and play. And it doesn't mean you have to meta hop every 2 months, but it means you can't literally play whatever you want.
Yeah,
Mm.
because I mean, metas shift all the time, but
Meta shift, yeah.
if you're stuck in one place, that's not you might be at the top for a couple of months with that one place, but it won't be forever. And so you do need to adapt with it. And people can do it do very, very well with single armies. So you don't necessarily need to meta switch like you say, like constantly meta chase, I guess is the term. But if you
With my
want to do
coaching clients, though, I always try to I always try to phrase it this way, and I wanted them to really understand that this is the coach I am, and the job I will provide you, the service I'll provide you, and if that's not your cup of tea, then find a different coach. And by that I mean basically, it's like I want you to want to enjoy your hobby more and to like become a better Warhammer player. Like Warhammer is a skill. Playing Warhammer as a game is a skill. You can get better at that skill. That includes list writing. That includes deployment, turn one, turn two, how you think about the game, all that stuff. And if you improve your skill set, it doesn't really matter as much like whether you're meta hopping or if you take a break for a few months and come back to it, like you are better than you were before. And that's where I want to help you. Other coaches may try to like, this is the list you play, you take the list, you run the tournament. Like I'll work with you about what your goals are and kind of align them and just ultimately try to help you get better at the game as a skill.
So, I mean, you kind of said it here, but just to reiterate a bit, I guess, or rephrase, do you genuinely believe that anyone could become the world champion of Warhammer with enough, effort and time?
I don't see why not. Now I say that knowing full well there have been people who like don't get it and like have problems like taking lessons that learned from one game and like applying it to another game. And there might be like an ability, like someone's ability to learn might get in their way. Like not everybody has the same capacity for learning, same ability to process knowledge. So if someone doesn't work on that stuff, then no, I don't know that they could be great at Warhammer. But if you're like 99% of functioning adult humans, you can probably be very good at Warhammer if you just put the time in and really work at it. It's not easy. Like this is, I say this the same way, like I could theoretically be, a great chess player if I just really put time into chess. Maybe not the world champion, but yeah.
He's like everyone can improve, everyone can get much better, and everyone can become like very, very good at something at Warhammer or chess or those sort of like tactical things. But I do think sometimes it does just take something that needs to just like click or just go that.
You have to want it. Like, I would say most players don't want it enough to really do
get to that very top, right? Like you can
because like if you don't really want it, you're not going to put the time and effort in.
Yeah. No, it does kind of. I get you with that moment of like, just I can't be asked with this, or you come up against that problem, and those difficult times. It does really separate the people that actually want to go for it. I guess that demonstrates why you were able to be successful both in Warhammer and with that sort of that leap of faith with the business. So, interesting bit of life advice there as well. Didn't expect that we'd
always happens.
No, that's always happens, man.
Dude, with my coaching clients, like after like 3-4 months, we stop talking about Warhammer. We start talking about life. It's so real.
Yeah,
that also means you're building a relationship with them and stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? It's not just a like contractual like formal.
I have the problem where I become friends with my coaching clients, and after like 6 months, they stop paying me, but I still talk to them.
No, don't tell them that. Although now you have a load of people signing up.
But that's a good point. Have you ever played against at a tournament one of your coaching clients?
Last year at the World Championships of Warhammer, I played against Boris Michev. You guys probably know him.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
he is one of my former coaching clients, and that person, that guy, that jerk, he and I had a mirror match, like literally one unit difference. It's like 1,900 points the same, and he beat me. It was really like a student surpassing the teacher, and then he got all the way to the shadow round playing against my John over here. It was like poetic. I was like very sad and disappointed that I'm losing, but like very happy about who I'm losing.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's a win-win if you play against someone that you coach, because it's like you either win, you're like, yeah, I'm still the coach here and everything, or it's yes, I did such a good job at coaching him that he surpassed me. Like that.
Dude, he literally told me he's like a dad. He owns a company, and his army is gorgeous. It's like one of the nicest armies in really Warhammer. And I'm like, Boris, how the hell did you do this? Like your army is gorgeous. You're playing it like phenomenally. You own a company. I own a company. Like I know how much time that takes. You have kids. Like what happened? How? And this dude, he just is like, yeah, man. I watch every video you put out, and I do not sleep. And while I watch those videos, I paint these models. And I'm like, I guess you deserve this win, man.
Yeah. At that point,
You're like, I don't watch every video
Yeah.
I put out. You win.
That's normal for creators though. They never watch their like.
Yeah. No.
Like Toby doesn't watch my videos.
Well, yeah, but that's just because I combat phases for nerds, as I've always said.
As you swapped over to a combat army recently because Dark Angels became a combat army.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's Nick. Wouldn't you say that the shooting phase is vastly superior to the combat phase? Please agree with me, or I'll cry.
To a chaos player.
Shooting is definitely lamer. I like I like an honest mix, but I definitely like guns are stupid. Like if you're just getting blown up from 20 inches away and you don't get to do anything, that's the worst way to lose.
That's artistry. Blowing someone up and they don't even know they're getting it happening to them. Beautiful.
Are you like an indirect player? Are you one of those like I want my 9 wyverns back? Are you one of those people?
No, I like to look them in the eyes while I kill them. It's far more fun. Although I just like to do it from a safe distance so they can't kill my pretty little Barbies. No, I don't play Tau. I play Dark Angels.
Literally, he's playing 15 Deathwing Knights and saying this. Like his safe distance is 8-inch charges that he doesn't fail.
I played Firestorm Dark Angels for bloody ages, and I got the 3rd in the world playing Firestorm and Dark Angels back when everyone was playing Ironstorm. So yes, I like shooting. It's fun.
I like shooting my Rhino occasionally.
Yeah, didn't you? Yeah. Right.
I'm not like anti-gun, but I hate
never mind,
things that just shoot. You know, like I'm playing Sisters, so like I say that while I shoot the shit out of you. But
Sisters is a good mix. It's just really.
It used to be a good mix. They made all my shooting units broken and my combat units bad.
Yeah,
what I mean is, Sisters is a good mix in the sense that Morgenthau just does enough damage in combat. Like that squad does enough combat that you don't need anything else.
She does it all.
Kill everything before they even get into combat, so it doesn't matter that you don't have that much combat, right? If you're shooting that effective, even the combat pieces don't need to be effective.
Yeah, no, it works. It works. It's not my right ratio. It's like 80-20 shooting, and I want like a 60-40 combat would be my ideal, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I do like to tease Sam, I think that is now my preferred as well. Like I think there's a lot more nuance to the combat phase. And I think it does get a hell of a lot more fun. So I
find it way more fun than just shooting people. I really do. I don't know.
I think the more dramatic moments do seem to come in the charging and then combat phase. Like the moments where 90% of the time you're like, oh my god, this thing happened in my game. It's usually in that phase, right?
I feel like you can do more shenanigans.
Yeah, you definitely can express player skill more in combat.
I mean, I literally have a video on it. But yeah,
plug.
I bet you have more than me, and you definitely have more views, Nick.
Yeah, no, like I like. It's not just like I roll my dice and you pick up your models. Like I also charge clever and then I pile in, I consolidate and I move block you and I stole an objective. Like it's all tethered to the combat. Yeah. Or I set you at my safe distance and I rolled my dice and this represents the velocity of the gun and it hits you and then it wounds you and then your armor explodes.
Like, I can see that little axe around that corner.
Yeah, right. Oh my god! You shoot the tip of my wing. I hate that so much.
Ron's wings just they're not quite Magnus, but seriously, it's so hard to hide that thing.
Dude.
I mean, I'm so glad that you can only see me from here up because I have a raging erection over your description of the shooting phase right now. Yeah, love it. Sorry, getting a little bit overexcited.
I mean, I've bought some shooting models today, so. Yeah, I'm going to start a new hobby project, hence the clay and stuff. But I am kind of tired of not having any shooting, so I'm looking into what other factions I want to play around with, and I want some shooting. I want a mix. I want that healthy mix. Yeah. But World Eaters will always be my my bread and butter, my where my heart is.
Yeah. So Nick, in that case, what would if you could just in like one sentence try and like pitch you as a coach or like maybe Art of War as a coach, whatever you would prefer to do, what would that sentence be? And I know that's probably a really tough question, but like
you can use
something that
in theory it should be easy for me, right?
No, I don't think that's ever easy.
I'll go with Art of War because I'm really more interested in promoting the brand and the business than myself as a coach. Art of War is a space for people to come together and enjoy a community over Warhammer online, and it's centered around helping people get better at Warhammer. And we do this through a variety of different ways. We have public videos on our YouTube channel, which are like games, tier lists, just fun ways for people to interact and learn about Warhammer and see what competitive Warhammer can be about. And then beyond that, we have our podcast and we have our Warhammer subscription, which is basically you get a library of videos and literally imagine Netflix just for Warhammer. And it's all a library of games, like all the different factions get representation. They play competitive matchups, and it's not just the coaches playing the game like you would if you're watching a tournament stream or whatever. These people are trained and professional at teaching you why they're doing what they're doing, the different decision processes that they're making, really giving you an inside scoop on their mindset. And then that's just like one thing we offer. We also do like faction breakdowns and know thy enemies, so you know how to play against other armies, strategy sessions. I just finished going over every single mission in the tournament companion. So it's a comprehensive guide on how to play Warhammer in a variety of different video packages. So you can just kind of take a 3-day free trial, which we have. I should give you the link for that. It's the warroom.vhx.tv. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description of the video.
That'd be great.
That will be linked below.
Yeah, it's just like this community that helps people get better at their game. It's very positive. We have no trolls. We don't like tolerate that stuff. And it's very just gamers helping gamers, getting to know people and learning the game. And yeah, like I said, treat Warhammer as a skill and get better at it.
So you also have
I think
Discord community. Did you say that? I can't remember.
Yeah, we have Discord community. It's popping. I'll send you. If you get access to, so you have to like be a member of our stuff to be in the Discord. But that can be any tier of membership, and with your free trial, you'll also get access that way.
Yeah, because I've definitely
fantastic. Yeah, no, yeah, he snuck his way in. Yeah, no, I mean that sounds like a fantastic elevator pitch in terms of like, here's what we do and what we do. I think it's nice to hear someone at your level who also happens to be from a completely different country talk about Warhammer in that way, because so we aren't a business. We just are guys that mess around and de-stress with toy soldiers, but like as very much the same attitude that we have. So it's really nice to hear that is kind of also done by extremely talented players that are making what I hope is a lot of money through their sort of what was their hobby. So it's that's really great to hear.
That's really sweet. Thank you. And yeah, we try really hard to take sportsmanship seriously and put that above winning. I mean, I have long speeches that all of my teammates can tell you are annoying and repetitive, but they're super important on this stuff. And I tell all my players, I'd rather you lose a clean game than win a dirty one. Like, let that be the mantra.
That is the philosophy that we want to stress to everyone in the hobby. Like, you want good, fun games. Like, we're here to play with toy soldiers. Literally, we're here for fun. And
like I try to recognize, like, I'm world champion, Richard's world champion, Jackson now world champion, all different times. We have multiple different WTC members. Like, new team members or even veteran team members might not have quite the same accolades, and they can really feel that pressure, especially after not performing well, to like maybe cheat or fudge a rule or get away with something, and maybe they're not thinking about their opponents first in that regard, because I know that's something your team takes seriously. Like, that's just like a zero tolerance policy here. Like, it's not a warning system or anything. It's like this is just the expectation. And if you don't meet that, that's not good enough.
I was going to say, I know for a fact that Art of War members have a good reputation. I mean, especially John Lennon, I know, has a extremely good reputation.
He won the Ambassador of the Year award. What a hero!
Yeah. So
it's always a sign of a really great person and player when they're at that level of ability, but they're also just known, because like we all get rules wrong, right? We know that you all
there's such a difference though, right?
And how you handle it. You know when someone's like doing it the right way, and they'll handle it in the right way, and it always evens out, right? Like they'll get rules wrong that will advantage themselves, but also they'll get rules wrong that disadvantage themselves. Right. And when you hear, especially when they've got all the lights on them like John does, just to see, great guy, everyone says he's a great guy, it's fantastic to see, and it's a real testament to your guys' community that there's that skill level and that just being decent dudes.
Yeah, that's what it is. Just be a good person.
Mm.
That's like the number one criteria I look for when I like hire someone to bring someone on a team too. Like everything is a trainable skill in my mind for the most part. Like Warhammer, you don't have to be that great at Warhammer to be on Art of War. Like not in the beginning. You'll get there by like losing to us like 400 times. But
so say game to play you guys 400 times will probably do a lot for
yeah,
you.
I mean, you should have seen Quentin 2 years ago. Quentin's a monster now.
Yeah.
But you basically like that's all trainable. Like being good at cameras or whatever, being good at OBS, that's all trainable. You know, the part that I can't really train you on is whether or not you got character, whether you're a good person, you know, that stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's again, it's so good to hear, you know, an ambassador for the community saying that and sort of backing it up by having a business and a team that reflects that as well. Is there anything? Because I know we're coming towards the end of the podcast. Is there anyone that you want to thank? Anyone that you want to give a little shout out to? Anything like that?
Oh, that's such an open question. I just want to thank like my team. They're awesome. Like I wouldn't be able to do all this without all the work that they put in. And it doesn't go underappreciated, unnoticed, but like definitely I can't say thanks enough. Like I needed to do more than myself, and we came together and working at this dream, and to be able to share that, it's pretty amazing.
I mean, it sounds like you've got a great group, a great team behind you, and everything like that. So it's really. I mean, we obviously will have to shout out our sponsors over on that side. So we have Glasshammer Gaming. You can use code Black Crow on the shop. Anything on the shop, like event tickets. You know, I bought magnets from there earlier today, and just like they have so much stuff. It's not just Warhammer models, all the stuff that you need to around it and the hobbying aspect, and you get 5% off on top of all the other discounts you have there normally. And then we have Terrain Forge that do fantastic MDF terrain, and you can get it customized, and you can have your own logos on it or any of that stuff, and you can use code BCG5 to get 5% off there as well. And please, if you've still here and still enjoying the content, please give us a like, subscribe, you know, the usual YouTube stuff. Make this video pop.
Hit the little bell icon. Make sure that you get notified whenever we go and do our silly stuff. You know, there's plenty of dick jokes that I can keep making. Do not worry. I have a plethora of them waiting.
It's never boring with Toby.
It's usually because someone just hands me a beer and goes, go!
But yeah, and lastly, Nick, thank you so much for coming and joining us and giving us an insight into the American world and Art of War and all of this stuff, because it's been absolutely fascinating and an absolute joy to have you.
I'm so glad I could come on. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Well, look, thank you so much again. I know everyone that's watched this will have hopefully massively learned something. I know I've learned some really good stuff and have hopefully had a laugh doing it. So thank you so much for coming on. We hope you really enjoyed watching and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Bye.